What's going on? Welcome back to Trending Stocks. Today when I talk to you about SoundHound, I want to go over some of the current data points, break it down on what is really moving it, and go over everything else that you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So SoundHound is down 9.25%, 1750 the low, 2046 the high. So today, generally, the market does suck, all in all, linked to data. So I'll go over that in a second. But I just wanted to kind of mention a lot of people out there are saying that SoundHound is down solely because of the broader market, and I beg to differ, only because by the time that data did come out was roughly like right here. So SoundHound was already starting to get hit quite hard, and regrettably this was another short attack. So I'm going to go over that in a second, and actually what shorts overall are doing. But generally this is the data that is causing the market so much distress. So Jolt numbers, 8.09 million was actual, 7.69 million is a forecast. So it goes to show that there was a lot of jobs, just the labor market didn't necessarily want to go out and get them. So kind of shows a discrepancy a little bit, and this is exactly what Powell has stated in the past. That is a big concern of his. So in reality, that's what's causing the market to be on edge a little bit. Plus, I think it is still resonating a little bit as well with what I think it was Cook stated yesterday on just how there is going to be a large decline in the broader market, just as evaluations of stocks are just too elevated. So all in all, I think that is causing some distress in the broader market. So let me know your thoughts on that. Aside from that though, SoundHound did put out news about CES. So today's first day for that. They're going to be at booth 4964. They kind of state right here that you can go visit them and whatever else. Couple of things as well to note is that in here they go over some full kind of examples of it and whatever, but in my opinion, and I like to play devil's advocate, and I know the full potential of what SoundHound could do, this PR doesn't really portray that accurately. So I think this is kind of timid for an actual PR. So in my opinion, I think it's just being brushed under the rug a little bit. At the same time, I think SoundHound kind of dropped the ball a little bit, only because they say come over here and take a look at it, the booth and whatever else, and experience it. But imagine how advantageous it would be if they had a live stream. If they had a live stream, people from all around the world who invest in SoundHound, who believe in SoundHound, that aren't in the general area of Vegas, they can actually see it firsthand. So I think in reality, SoundHound's dropping the ball a little bit on their marketing. Of course, they could be doing that tomorrow or the following day. They just haven't announced it yet or something, because there's still the 2 other days. But yeah, I think in general, this PR, for example, isn't that great. But again, maybe I'm just being too overly critical. But as far as shorts right now, they are increasing 909,000 shares. 25.83% of the free float is being shorted. Works out to be 85.01 million shares overall are being shorted. So this is net. And as I've brought up in the past, you can kind of see based on this teal line at its peak, they are and were increasing 7.2 million shares. So this is that short attack. So you can kind of see it inverse, kind of plug this into the chart. See the little dip right there that did happen. That shorts returning. Ultimately, that is this right here. So shorts caused this, and shorts caused this. So you still are seeing a good amount of transactions on the secondary market. This is ultimately what caused that sell-off even further. And so a lot of this is reacting to the data points, but the frequency of transactions on the secondary market is a little bit lower. So what does that mean? That means shorts, kind of like with lower volume, it's easy for shorts to manipulate not just SoundHound, but any stock. This is why you always have to kind of pay attention to the volume, pay attention to big money. And before SoundHound started to get very popular with institutions and stuff like that, I was covering it, and I even stated, I'm like, well, honestly, if the volume stays as this, like how it is, shorts will be able to do whatever the hell they want. And So I think in reality, SoundHound's just more of a in a consolidation phase right now. So that's just wanted to break that down for you. But aside from that, though, you have 22 million in calls, 8.97 million in puts. 53% of all the options being done today are bearish in nature. Of the call options that are being purchased, you see a consensus for it to be above, roughly around that $23 to $24 range. So regardless of the pullback, if it pulls back to 16, 17, 18, I love the optimism. People still are saying, hey, this is going to 24, 25, $23. So I like the optimism regardless. And then the bears, they are anticipating for it to be sub $17. So more of a anticipated that this pullback is going to stick around possibly a little bit longer. But aside from that, with it at $17.99, it is trading between this S2 and this S3. So with the next, 2 hours left in the trading day, I know SoundHound usually does recover, but this is a key point to get over, and for it to close above is 18.27, because if it does trade below that and closes below that, then in theory 16.56 is going to be the next strong support. And if shorts do another kind of laddered attack, you could see a even further pullback. So again, just watch for that 18.27. Aside from that, 19.33 and 21.05 is going to be the following kind of resistance points. Aside from that, no new actual ratings, nothing like that. So it's kind of just been stuck in limbo. If SoundHound does put out something of substance, then you could see some new ratings. But I think right now, a lot of the analysts out there are somewhat hesitant to give new ratings, only because even in Tesla's case, the most bullish rating, which was from Bank of America, they withdrew their rating. I think a lot of this has everyone just spooked a little bit, because if the Feds are saying that stocks are overvalued, then I don't know, it kind of just makes people feel on edge a little bit. But aside from that, though, as you can kind of see, it is closed right now below the ALMA, so that is sitting at $20.07. So very wide gaps between here and even the 50-day moving average. So the numbers I went over, so the support and resistance points, that is probably a little bit more important than this. The only thing to take away from this chart right here is the fact that it is very oversold. So good piece of news coming out associated to SoundHound of substance. You could see a rush of value investors getting in, propelling it higher. Another key point to really watch for is that 14.96. Not saying it's going to come overnight, but if it does break below that, then this is where you'll have the algorithms really working against SoundHound, really pushing it lower. So all in all, it is what it is. I think just SoundHound's going to be very volatile for the foreseeable future up until it does obtain profitability, which will be a natural deterrent against shorts. But until that comes, just be comfortable with plus 6% days and then down 2% or vice versa. It's going to be all over the place. So let me know your viewpoint on SoundHound. Are you buying? Are you selling? Like, are you doing options? What's your overall thoughts on SoundHound? And do you think it is going to continue to pull down, or just what's your thoughts? And actually, on a side note, while I have you, do you think I'm being overly critical? What was your viewpoint on this PR? Do you think it's actually good, or do you think it's really just downplaying what the full capabilities are? So kind of curious on your thoughts on that. One final thing, pop over to my Patreon, link in the description below and also the comments. I give buy signals on stocks, options, and crypto. Many of them have been absolute bangers. So pop over there and take a look. Link in the description below and also the comments. With all that, appreciate all of you watching.